The opinions expressed in this program reflect only those of the participants and are not necessarily those of the sponsors, management, or staff of WTBQ Radio or FST Broadcasting Corporation.
WTBQ.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Travel, Adventure, and Wellness. I'm your host, Brenda Otto with Sunray Travel. For our new listeners here on Travel, Adventure, Wellness, we discuss how people going through cancer, survivors, or people with mobility issues can travel with ease. So we all know someone who's been touched by cancers, and studies show that travel provides a break from cancer world. So on this show, you're going to hear from, some guests who share their journey, and then also some resorts that we bring on that will go over some wellness programs that they have at their facilities so that you can actually enjoy yourself. So we hope that these stories will fill you with hope, courage, and a renewed sense of possibility. Anyway, my co-host, Julie Bach, she is CEO of Cancer Wellness Travel. She's currently in the Dominican Republic. She's training massage therapists at facilities that help cancer patients, be renewed. So Julie is just truly the voice of vision and wisdom in the health of individuals with cancer. But today I have a special guest. I am welcoming Dan Jimenez from Playa Hotel and Resorts, and they have resorts all over the Caribbean where we are sure to find a wellness property where you can enjoy your vacation. So welcome, Dan. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I am doing really, really well. Thank you so much for coming on board. I love, I've been to your properties, and you guys just have some really beautiful locations. So tell us, where do you guys, where are your resorts located? What countries?
So we're located all over Mexico, Jamaica, and the Dominican Republic. We have a nice large concentration in the Cancun, Riviera Maya area, but we also have hotels right in Montego Bay in Jamaica, on the west coast of Mexico, as well as all over the Dominican Republic.
So a couple of things that when we discuss on the program is, some of our listeners that are going through cancer or they're survivors, they want to know how the accommodations work. So at a lot of these resorts, you have rooms that are accessible, including be able to have special arrangements for guests who may have some mobility issues.
Yeah, absolutely. Every single one of our resorts has accessible rooms and has a customizable experience that we can create for each individual to accommodate whatever need they might have, whether that's they need a roll-in shower, maybe they have specific dietary needs. We're here to make sure that every guest has an amazing experience.
That's thank you. That's great. What about, sometimes people come there and depending on the resort, sometimes clients have some, mobility issues, hills. Do they have access to either wheelchairs or scooters that they can use while on property?
Yeah, we have some on property, but we also work with third-party vendors to bring those in, especially with specialized equipment when it comes to scooters, beach wheelchairs, things like that are a little bit more specialized. We work with outside vendors.
I love those beach wheelchairs. I mean, that just gives people the ability to just really just roll right into the ocean. I love those things, So that's good. I'm glad that that's accessible to them on property. What about at the pools? A lot of them, I know the new thing now is that zero entry, so people can literally just kind of walk in, but you don't have chairlifts or anything like that on any of the pools, do you?
No, we do. We do.
Really?
If you see our resorts, you'll generally see the chairlifts at our Ziva and Zilara properties, the Hyatt Ziva and Zilara properties, the Hilton all-inclusive properties, and the Wyndham Ultra properties as well.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so here's something that is kind of important for people that are traveling that have cancer or any kind of medical issues. Do you have medical staff on board?
Yeah, every single one of our properties has a doctor in-house.
Okay.
And and we have the medical office in-house as well. It's a contract, so we bring in doctors from the outside. You're not just getting me as a doctor. No, it's a real doctor coming in.
Okay, so you have licensed doctors on property and nurse care and things like that. So if people, and it doesn't matter, whether you're going through cancer or just, you're just there on vacation. So you do have access to some kind of medical attention if something was to happen, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, anything from a scraped knee to a medical emergency, we can make sure our guests are taken care of.
That's perfect. Thank you. Okay, so a lot of times, and I know this, that I'm sure every room in your accommodations has refrigerators because, sometimes people are traveling with insulin or medication that needs to be refrigerated. So that's not an issue, right?
No, yeah, we have refrigerators at every single one of our properties, and the nice thing is, if we need a second refrigerator or if we need to store anything at a very specific temperature, we can accommodate those needs as well.
Okay.
If there's anything that needs to be warmed up, for example, or if there's anything that needs to be done for. Just give me one moment, please. Thank you.
I hear you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I understand. You just had a baby, so hey, congratulations, by the way. But go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah. So if there's any other type of accommodation that is necessary, we can really assist with anything like that.
So as a travel advisor, so if I have clients that really have some special requirements, should I email the hotel prior, like either speak with concierge or somebody at the service desk, just to give them a little bit of a heads up so that it's noted in their reservation?
Yeah, no, absolutely. If you just go ahead and let us know beforehand, we'll be able to assist. Our concierge team is wonderful. They do a great job of making sure that every accommodation is taken care of beforehand.
Okay.
And so just if you let us know beforehand, we can accommodate most requests.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know. So another question for you. I know that this is going to be a long question. This is going to be a lot because, food is a really big thing for people. A lot of people have allergies towards certain things. And when people travel, and most of your resorts are all-inclusive properties. Is that correct?
All of them are, yeah.
All of them are. Okay. So, a lot of times when, clients reach out to me, their big concern with all-inclusive property, of course, is food. And if they have some kind of allergy, how can that be accommodated for them?
Yeah, the same way. I mean, when we are working with our guests before they arrive, we can accommodate any type of allergy. Every single one of our restaurants is going to have a gluten-free option. We're going to have dairy-free options. And if you have any allergies, we can absolutely make sure that the guests are taken care of.
So basically, I can pretty much email that information to the resort prior. But I think as a general rule of thumb, when you're at one of your resorts and you're sitting down for, say, at an a la carte restaurant, that the waiter or the waitress usually preface the question to people like, do you have, any allergies or gluten-free requests? I think that's pretty common nowadays with a lot of, resorts across the Caribbean.
Yeah, I mean, the first question that they ask you when you walk into a restaurant is going to be about allergies.
Yeah.
And then probably, they'll already have things on file. They always want to verify. And then we want to know beforehand, that way in case there's any additional amenity requested, we can also provide that, make sure that we accommodate that request. So if somebody is dairy-free, of course, we don't want to send them
something
milk,
with cheese and an omelet.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want them to have to, bring out an EpiPen while they're having breakfast, so I get that. The other thing, too, here we go. Sorry, we have to go to a really quick little break here. So, guys, just stick with us. We're going to come back and speak with Dan Jimenez from Playa Resorts. So just hang back, and we'll be right back with Travel, Adventure, and Wellness.
Brenda Otto of Sunray Travel promises you more than a trip. She builds you a world-class adventure. Brenda customizes travel for those going through or recovering from cancer and their families and friends. Contact Brenda by visiting sunray-travel.com. Whether local, in your state, or anywhere in the USA, overseas, or to a beachy island, start your itinerary now by going to sunray-travel.com and live your dreams.
WTBQ.
Hey, and we're back with Travel, Adventure, and Wellness. I am Brenda Otto, your host, and today I have Dan Jimenez from Playa Resorts, and we are talking resorts in the Caribbean today. Dan, before we went to break, we were talking about food, and I know that this is starting to become a very popular trend as to like farm to table food products. So I know, of course, Mexico does a lot of that. You want to just kind of elaborate on how that farm to table is working in the various properties across, your the Caribbean?
Yeah, absolutely. For example, in our Hilton La Romana property, we've got this beautiful garden of vegetables, herbs, and that goes directly from that little garden into the dishes that you're eating right there on property.
Okay.
Jewel Paradise Cove is another great example of a really wellness-focused property where we have that on-property garden. So the vegetables you're eating, the herbs, that's all coming locally from our garden right there on property. So we try our best to make sure that we do things in a way that is sustainable. We do things in a way that is, the most fresh. With Playa, we really have three pillars that we stand on, mm-hmm. One of them being focus on culinary perfection. And part of that is making sure we have the freshest ingredients. And there's not much fresher than right there, right next door.
Exactly. So you're saying that these gardens are on the two properties, the Jewel property, and is that in, is Punta Cana or?
Yeah, so La Romana, you would fly into Punta Cana,
okay.
And then it's located just right next door, probably about 40 to 50 minutes away from the Punta Cana International Airport.
Okay.
And then the Jewel Paradise Cove is about the same, except Montego Bay.
Okay. One Jamaica and one Punta Cana. Okay. So you're saying that these gardens are right on property, so you're basically growing your food fresh.
Yes, for the most part, it's right there, just being grown right there on property.
See, that's the thing. When I go on vacation, is I really like to experience the different types of cuisine that are being offered on the different islands, and having that fresh farm to table food every day. It just seems just like a better, healthier way to enjoy on vacation. I love that. And
the best part is it's still part of your all-inclusive. It's not like it's an additional cost to get that.
Right.
Still 100% all-inclusive.
So I know at a lot of your properties, let's, just talk about that with the food options. So, of course, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, all that kind of stuff is all included. But so for the most part, people can just pretty much, eat wherever. I mean, are you doing food trucks at some of your properties now? I know that that's kind of like the new craze.
Yeah, absolutely. So at our water parks especially, we have those food trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, like in Cabo, we have a wonderful food truck down by the beach. We have a couple different food truck options, and then we have just quick service options by the beach and by the pool in most of our resorts as well.
And then I think you have coffee shops too. Don't you have coffee shops? Are they open like 24 hours, or are they just open like 18? Like how many hours a day are the coffee shops open?
It depends on the property.
Okay.
Some do have 24 hours. Others do not have 24 hours. But those properties are, usually with the Hyatt Zivas and Zolaras, while you don't have a coffee shop 24 hours, you'll always have room service 24 hours.
There you go. Okay. Well,
so there's always an option to grab a bite.
That works too. I mean, you can always just enjoy room service, which is always really wonderful. So I know that a lot of the properties that you have are either adults only or they're definitely family inclusive. So do you guys tend to be more of have more family inclusive properties than adults only, or is it kind of just about even?
It's a nice split currently.
Okay.
We have like the Ziva, that's going to be definitely family. Ziva,
Right, for kids, right. Yeah, that's how I always
say.
remember that.
And then the Zalaras are going to be adults only.
Okay.
And then you're going to have, with our Wyndhams, we have both, right? But for the most part, the Wyndhams are going to be family friendly.
Right.
So, and remember, we only have the Ultra brand, ALLTRA.
Which is
so in Vallarta,
right.
we have the beautiful Wyndham Ultra Vallarta. That's going to be all ages. Cancun's going to be all ages. The new Samaná property is all ages. And our coming this November, we're going to have another Wyndham Ultra Punta Cana, and that's also going to be family focused.
Okay.
But the one in Playa del Carmen, for example, that's adults only.
So when you talk about the family property, so I know, you want to be able to include families, but are there sections on those properties that would be just for like adults? So, because I know like sometimes people just they like the property, but they don't always want to be around kids. So are there sections of certain properties that have like an adult only pool?
Yeah, so with most properties that are family focused, we do have an adults only section.
Okay.
So for example, our Citas Cancun, we have a beautiful adults only pool deck and lounge. But in like Cap Cana and in Rose Halls with our Ziva and Zalaras, they're directly next to each other. So if you're over 18, you have access to both sides.
Got it.
Same with the Hilton and La Romana, where you have that ability to go over to the adult side, or you can stay on the family side. So again, half and half.
So like the Punta Cana property, the Ziva and the Zalara, they're right next to each other, and it's got that huge water park there, right?
Yeah.
So if you're staying on the adult side, you can cross over to the family side, but the family side can't cross over to the adult side. That's correct.
No,
right?
Family side can cross over as long as you're over 18.
Ah, okay, as long as you're over 18. Okay, well, that makes sense. But then you have more options on food choices because you have restaurants that are on both locations, right? So we have that particular. Yeah. Okay.
So each side has 4 restaurants plus 1 buffet.
Okay.
So you have, if you're over 18, you have both, you can have access to every single one of those restaurants, whatever one is best for you.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. So, all right. So a lot of times when people go on vacation, sometimes people just want to just sit and relax and they just want to do nothing, which is fine. Just grab a book and just kind of chill out on the beach. But then there are others that really are there for some kind of rejuvenation. When we talk about wellness travel nowadays, it's just not about a spa, which is great to have a spa treatment, but other activities that make up wellness, like maybe cooking or nature hikes or some kind of yoga or meditation. So, what type of wellness programs do you have at your resorts? And I get that you may not have all these things at every property, but if you were to pick one property that kind of encompasses where they have yoga and, certain wellness things, which property would that be?
Oh, that's tough.
Okay, so you have more than one? You can tell us which ones.
So remember that when I said that one of our pillars was focusing on the culinary perfection, another one of our pillars is wellness. It's a huge part of what we do overall at Playa. So if you look at any of our, activity lists that we have, you're going to see yoga every day, Pilates. You're going to see a big focus in the gym, in the spa, a multitude of offerings. Like Jewel Paradise Cove, for example, has a wellness week that they do every single year. Every single year they do that wellness week, or in the early months of January. Sanctuary Cap Cana, definitely a overall wellness-focused resort. You have all of our Zivas and Zalaras. We actually have one of the largest gyms in the Dominican Republic in our Ziva Zalara Cap Cana.
Okay.
We have offerings of, massages, hydrotherapy, just so many different things to do. And we also have the option of creating your own. So if your clients or if you are looking for something specific and you're not sure if it's something we can accommodate, we can always try.
So would they, like, just say for myself, like if I was booking, putting somebody at of course, Sanctuary, which is actually one of my favorite properties in Punta Cana. It's beautiful. So just say I had clients that were going there to just kind of recuperate, coming off treatment or whatever. Can I talk to the concierge prior to their arrival, say that if we wanted to put together something like a nature walk one morning, or maybe, do the hydrotherapy spa, but at, of course, a little bit more attention maybe they need, or just is all this, can we do this before, or is this something that we do once we get on property?
No, we can absolutely get this scheduled before.
Okay.
Especially, with more focus in the hydrotherapy, which is a very rejuvenating experience, no matter which one of the properties you're at. In organizing those things, we can certainly get that done before you get to the property.
Okay. Because sometimes, that there's a lot of times clients want to be able to just know that they have something scheduled, and others are okay with just, showing up on property and just kind of putting all that together for them. So, and they can work with a concierge once they're on property regardless, right? If they want to change things up. Okay. That's good to know. This way it makes it a lot easier for people, to kind of plan out their day. Because sometimes, you get on vacation, and if you have everything planned out, sometimes you get there and you're like, you know what? I really don't want to make a plan. I just want to lay on the beach today, right?
And that's one of the beautiful things about all-inclusive. You can be as involved or not involved in planning things as you want to be. Sometimes you want to have a couple days of scheduling and a couple days of just free form. I'll just do as I please on my own schedule.
Right.
And other days you want to have a, very regimented schedule. Mm-hmm. Personally, I like to get time blocks from when I wake up until I go to sleep. My wife is the exact opposite. So on vacations, sometimes it's a little bit,
So she's either sitting at the pool or on the beach with a book, and you're running around. You're at the gym, or you're doing whatever.
Exactly.
That's. Go ahead.
No, I'm doing like the dance contest, and I'm playing volleyball and all that stuff.
Sometimes. I feel the same way too. Sometimes I just want to chill out, and then other times I want to get involved with the activities that are on property. And that's the thing about all-inclusives that I think sometimes people don't realize is that, yes, all-inclusive means, food and beverages and things like that, but they don't realize all the other activities that come along with it, right? So that I prefer all-inclusives because these are opportunities that you have while you're on property to do. So you're saying all your properties have something going on. They have activities during the day. They have nightlife, entertainment, where people can go to, beach volleyball, pool volleyball. I mean, there's just so much activities that go on at all-inclusive resorts that I think people just need to kind of be aware of. It's just not food and beverage. It's a whole package of things.
I mean, you can get everything from custom painted hats to pottery classes to, because it's not just, beach volleyball and stuff like that. There's a whole lot of really great art, cooking classes, mixology classes, and, again, still part of that all-inclusive.
Right.
So,
and that's what I think people sometimes don't realize, that when you add an all-inclusive, there's so many things that can, that come with that. Just like you said, classes and mixology and all different types of things. Anyway, we are on the verge of taking our second break for the day, so I want everybody to just kind of stick around. I have Dan Jimenez here from Playa Resorts, and we will be right back with Travel, Adventure, and Wellness.
Julie Bach is the Executive Director of Wellness for Cancer, therapist and educator, improving the well-being for people touched by cancer. Julie is recognized for bridging the medical world with the world of wellness and beauty. Julie trains spas, wellness centers, and resorts worldwide to accommodate those with or recovering from cancer and their families and friends. To chat with Julie or for more information, visit cancer.com.
Hey, this is Travel, Adventure, and Wellness. I'm Brenda Otto, your host today with Sunray Travel. I have the pleasure of having Dan Jimenez from Playa Resorts and Hotels. And we are talking about properties that they have over in Mexico, Dominican Republic, and Jamaica. And we were just talking about like activities and things that people can experience while they're on vacation. So, just going to an all-inclusive doesn't mean just food and beverages. There's a whole plethora of things that people can do, whether it's yoga, whether it's cooking classes. You can either just sit back and relax, or you can just go out and enjoy. So depending on your level of your activity level, what you can experience, there's a whole wealth of things that you can go through, right, at any one of your resorts.
100%. Yeah, that's a really great summary of it. And one of the things I love about our resorts is that we want you to leave feeling rejuvenated. Sometimes when you go on these vacations, you feel like you need a vacation afterwards.
So, you know what? And so many people say that. I went on vacation, I came home, and I need a vacation. So, what we're trying to, enlighten our listeners is to rejuvenation. Like what's the intention of your trip? What do you expect to get at it? So if you need to just relax, then maybe just a yoga, going to yoga or a massage or just laying on the beach is going to work for you. If somebody's looking for, do something adventurous, you have a variety of things that you can do on property and as well as also off property if that's what interests them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have so a lot of times when I'm planning somebody's vacation out, we always want to be able to do things, sometimes go off property. So I'll come up with tours and things that they can do. And so, but sometimes they don't want to, they want to wait. So you have that option right in your own facilities that if people want to, take something excursion off property, they can just go right to your, there's like a concierge desk, right? Where they can just do that.
So we partner with specific brands and vendors that are experts in the destination. So each destination will have specific ones. And depending on what you want to do and what kind of budget and what kind of time you're looking at, we can assist with all of those things. But we also have, you can talk to the concierge and say, hey, I want to just, I want to go to a local bar or I want to go to a local show or whatever it might be. And they can advise you on things like that as well.
So, okay, so let's go talk about some of the resorts at some of the countries. So let's go to Mexico first, because I know I've cited and stayed at a few of the properties that you have in Mexico, and the Ziva Cancun is, I've sent several people there. I've done weddings there. It's just a phenomenal property. So you want to, just share a little bit of information about that property?
Well, it won a World Travel Award for Best Beach Hotel, and I think that speaks really well to the quality of the property. It's surrounded on three sides by water, so, you have ocean views every direction that you're looking. One of my favorite things about that property is the high-quality food.
Yes.
It's not something that people usually talk about with all-inclusives, but, our food, I'll take the Pepsi challenge with any a la carte restaurant. It's really amazing. One of the cool things about that property too is, we were talking about the adults only areas. We have the Turquoise Tower, which is an adults only tower. So if you have families traveling multi-generational and some people don't want to be around kids all the time, there are adults only areas, adults only lounges for the adults to escape to if they would like. There's also right on property the swimming with the dolphins.
Yeah,
So,
I saw that too. You can also get a room where your room is facing where they are, which is very cool.
Yeah, and it's funny because you can still see the ocean,
Yeah.
but they call it a dolphin view.
They call it a dolphin view. Well, that property is because the way where it's located, there's views of the water all around you. So, you're going to see water no matter where your room is located. There's going to be some kind of water view, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's three different areas of the hotel. There's the club tower, which is going to be just for our club level, which comes with an elevated service, exclusive lounge, exclusive restaurants, exclusive pool areas.
Right.
Then we have our turquoise tower, which is the 18 and over tower. But a majority of the rooms are in what we call the pyramid.
Right.
And so that is where you're going to have the dolphin view. That's where you're going to have the ocean view,
Okay.
what we call our cruise ship view, because there's one area where when you look out of it, just looks like you're in the ocean. So it kind of feels like a cruise ship view.
That's cool. That's very cool. So do you have a hydrotherapy spa on that property?
Oh, it's one of the best.
Really?
One of the best. And one of the, it's such an amazing guided experience because you don't feel like you have to take the reins. You can really relax as you're guided through each section of the hydrotherapy.
So, I mean, if clients didn't book, can they use that, or do they have to book a spa treatment in order to use the hydrotherapy?
They can book that as their spa treatment.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so if they would just like to book the hydrotherapy exclusively, they can do that, and that would be their treatment for the day, or they could have it as part of their
Like a massage. Okay. So
Yeah.
the hydrotherapy, so walk me through that. So basically it's sauna, steam room.
Yeah, first you're taken to the locker rooms, right? And then you change, you put on your robe, put away your personal effects. And then you're guided over to the sauna, where you'll have the dry heat for a little while, and then you're taken to the steam room where you're going to get that moist heat. Then you're taken to the cold room, which is the worst part, but they do it because it'll close your pores.
Okay.
And it'll assist as you go over to the hot tub with the plunge pools, so you can decide what level of heat you would like. There's also a cold pool should you decide you want to
I've
cool
done that.
off.
I've done that cold plunge before. It's definitely a shocker after, but you know what? I think when you go through and you do the whole series, you walk out of there and your body is just totally relaxed from all that.
It's the best. If I could do it every day, I would.
So for people that are, I know that you have to fill paperwork out in order to go into the spa. So, for people that are having some kind of, you want to know, right? If people are going and having some kind of issues and, you're able to address that, correct? If they are?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's full, questionnaires as you're being brought in. If you would like to advise prior to arrival, we can do that as well.
Okay.
And get those treatments pre-booked.
Okay. Sounds that, and I'm always for a spa treatment, no matter when I go anytime I go on vacation. That's the first thing I do is always book, whether it's a pedicure or a manicure or just a massage. I always find that really kind of sets the tone for the vacation, especially if you want to relax or it just gets you in the mode for vacation. So I know, with Mexico and stuff, you said that this is the thing with your properties that I know for consistency, for the food. No matter what property I've toured or stayed at in the past, and my clients have, that's the one thing they always rave about is the consistency of the good food. And I know that sometimes when people think about adult all-inclusives, that's what their concern is. And your food is always so consistently good. I mean, how do you do that?
I mean, honestly, we spend more than most other all-inclusives per person on food.
Okay.
And that's a big part of it. We invest in the culinary experience because we know, it's like when you go to a wedding, right? Everybody will say, "Oh, it was beautiful. The bride was gorgeous. The food was okay." You don't want people to do that. You want people to say, "Well, yeah, that food was amazing." Also, now everything else is elevated, the views, the experiences. But bad food can ruin a vacation.
Yeah. I mean, I see a lot of times, that people ate something that just didn't agree with them and whatever. But yeah, that's the thing that I think sometimes people shy away from all-inclusives is because they say, oh, you know what, we're not going to get great food or we're not going to have great options. But you guys have quite a few restaurants at every single property, so that people do have those options, right? You have Mexican, Italian, I believe, depending on where you go. You have a Japanese steakhouse. I mean, there's just such a variety of what you have to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a huge variety of different culinary options. My favorite, I love the Peruvian restaurant that we have at the Hilton La Romana.
Oh, yes. I've heard great things.
It's just phenomenal. I mean, it's not even one of the top, restaurants in the hotel, but for me, it's one of my favorites across the entire collection of our properties.
So, when you talk about like similarities, similar restaurants, do you have similar restaurants like in most of the properties, or are they different?
I would say we have similar cuisines,
Okay.
but each executive chef puts their own spin on every menu.
Okay.
So it's not like you're going to go to Ziva Cancun and have the same, the same teppanyaki meal that you're going to have at Ziva Cabo. Each
Got
chef
it.
kind of puts their own spin on it.
Okay.
Has their authority over it, and
Right.
that's their art. So,
But do you have like signature restaurants that are similar at every? I know that you're going to have a different chef, but do you have signature restaurants at your resorts? Like you just said, the Peruvian is in Cancun. Would you have a Peruvian in Cabo or a Peruvian in Jamaica?
No.
Okay.
So we're always going to have Italian. We're always going to have the Japanese steakhouse.
Okay.
That's pretty much guaranteed at all of our properties.
But
Other than that,
but you'll have
varies.
you have a variety of different types of cuisines across the board.
We'll have French. We'll have American steakhouse. We'll have grab and go. We'll have a Mexican street food, elevated Mexican cuisine. In the DR, we'll have Caribbean restaurants. So there's a wide variety.
Okay. Couple of things. Now, we talked about Mexico, and I know Mexico has their own kind of cuisine as far as, of course, I love guacamole, and they're always having they'll have fresh fish or fresh catch of the day. Now let's move over to, we're going to have to take a break in a minute, so I'll just stay with Mexico for a little while because the spices are is what I think really enhances the food that they offer there. And also farm to table fresh, right? Now, I mean, I know that's pretty big in Mexico as well.
Yeah. All of our ingredients, all of our providers, our vendors are, the best that we can find as a destination to provide those excellent options for our guests. So you're getting that excellent cuisine no matter where you're going, and you're getting the best ingredients.
Do you work with the local farmers in specific locations to bring that food in?
In certain hotels, they each work with their own local provider. Like, for example, Viva Cancun works with a local village that's about an hour away from Cancun that brings in honey.
That's great. I just like to hear that you're actually working with the local community and it helps give back. All right, listen, we are headed for our last break. So just stick with us, and we will be right back with Dan Jimenez from Playa Resorts and Hotels here on Travel, Adventure, and Wellness.
Brenda Otto of Sunray Travel promises you more than a trip. She builds you a world-class adventure. Brenda customizes travel for those going through or recovering from cancer and their families and friends. Contact Brenda by visiting sunray-travel.com. Whether local, in your state, or anywhere in the USA, overseas, or to a beachy island, start your itinerary now by going to sunray-travel.com and live your dreams.
WTBQ.
Hey, and welcome back to Travel, Adventure, Wellness. I am your host, Brenda Otto with Sunray Travel. Today I have with me Dan Jimenez from Playa Resorts and Hotels. So Dan, before we broke away for commercial break, we were talking about cuisines and foods. And I think, pretty much we had covered, you guys like to, depending on where country you're in, you like to work with the locals to bring in fresh foods. So that the clients have an elevated experience when it comes to the cuisine that they're having at your hotels. A couple of times when I've been in Mexico, they sometimes the resorts have, like, say, a Mexican night or a festival that goes on, where they really pull out all the stops and they do all kinds of different, food cuisines, and they put on a show. I mean, do you guys, is any of that kind of activity ever happen in any of your resorts, whether it's Mexico, Jamaica, Dominican Republic?
In every destination, and we bring in local vendors to show off their art, to show off their crafts as well. So you really get a sense of what's happening in the local community. You
Right.
can see that local artistry. I was just on vacation at the Hilton La Romana with my family, and there was some beautiful Dominican art that was there while we were walking by, and I really had to restrain myself, or else I would have bought it all.
Bring it back. Are there specific times of the year that they're more prone to have these festivals than, I mean, I know Christmas and stuff is a big thing. You guys usually probably do something, but I think it's like every country might have a special type of, time of year. So are there any?
We typically, highlight the local community probably weekly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. So you'll bring in like local vendors that come in so that people can look and see their wares, or if there's entertainment that's brought in, it's local?
Yes, we do.
Wow, that's good to know. Okay, so couple other things. So what I do for my clients is I take care of booking and things like that. But do you recommend that people work with travel advisors, especially if they have special need requirements?
Absolutely. And my reasoning is that it's the relationship, right? So you and I, we, just as an example, we have a great relationship. You know how to get a hold of me.
Yes.
How to specify your client's needs, and I know who to go to exactly on the resort to make sure those needs are met. When you're booking through, suchandsuch.com, they don't have those relationships.
Right.
They don't have that care and know-how, right? So at the end of the day, it's all about the relationships and how to get things done in a timely manner. And booking through Travel Advisor that has those established relationships is the best way to ensure that your requests are going to be met.
I try to, I agree. I think that when, of course, when I work with clients, I always tell them that I have their back. And what's great is that we do have that relationship, so that if something was to go a little awry or a special request needed to be made, I know that I could reach out to you and you would say, okay, Brenda, this is who you're going to contact to make sure that your client is well taken care of. And I think nowadays in any kind of business, relationship building is, staying connected in those relationships, building those relationships makes it easier for the client to travel in the long run. So let's talk about a couple of other things here. I'm just going to cover this really quickly because I'm a big travel insurance. I'm pro travel insurance. I think everybody should have travel insurance, especially if you have any kind of situation going on in your life, pre-existing conditions. Of course, it's really important because you have to look at your vacation as just not a vacation, but also an investment. And I think you should also be protected. And also, when you're traveling outside the country, you want to make sure that you have medical insurance to cover you while you're traveling. And a lot of people believe that their insurance that they have here in this country will protect them, but that's not actually always accurate. So I'm a really big fan of travel insurance and protecting your investment. So anyway, we're going to go talk about, all right, so you've got Mexico, we've got Jamaica, and we've got Punta Cana. So it sounds like you've been to Jamaica quite a lot.
Oh, yeah, I love Jamaica.
Just tell us why you like Jamaica.
Right when you get to the destination, it's just a warm environment. You're welcomed. You get off your transfer. Well, the other thing is, if you're staying at the Hyatt, your experience starts at the airport. We have a Hyatt Ziva Zilara check-in area at the airport.
Really?
So
I didn't.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's good to know.
So you're checked in already before you even get to the hotel. Then as you wait in the air-conditioned lounge. You're taken from there by your transfer company to the hotel, which is only about 10, 15 minutes away. You're greeted with the signature service from the heart, which is a huge part of what we do, hand over the heart,
Yeah.
a welcome amenity, a welcome drink, a cold towel to cool you down. Then you're brought, either to your room, or if the room's not ready, you'll be guided over to a restaurant that is open, and you can start your experience. Everybody is just so friendly there, and the destination itself is just gorgeous.
That was the thing I always experienced when I was at your properties, and even my clients say the same thing, is that the service that they get at your resorts, everybody is just really friendly. I had a couple once staying over at one of the Wyndham properties for Christmas, and they said they had gone out for, the day with their kids, and when they came back, they were greeted, but they were greeted by name. Like the staff remembered their 3 children's names plus the adults, and that makes it a very special experience when, people remember who you are. It's so you feel like you're home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And I think, and I think all the properties that you have, that's the common thread, I think, for all your properties, is that's how the staff treats everybody at every property. And so you want to feel like you're at home when you're vacationing. So I love that fact that you're very service oriented when it comes to client satisfaction and when they're on property. Yeah.
Huge part of what we do, for sure.
Yes, always so friendly. Okay, so you've been to Jamaica a lot, right? And you've been to the DR a lot. Which out of all of them? I know it's going to be hard to say and pick one, but if you had to pick one that would be your real favorite, which one would be your favorite?
Well, you're putting me on the spot.
I know. But there's got to be, okay, so one or two. I know that you've got a whole bunch of them, but where would you go to over and over and over again? You would never be bored. I know which one I would pick because I've been to a few of them, but.
Well, I'm Puerto Rican, and going to the DR, there's a lot of similar foods. There's a lot of similar cultural things.
Yes.
So I think that would probably be my favorite destination to continually go back to.
Right.
I love the Hilton there.
Uh-huh.
I think it's great, but there's the Sanctuary is the Sanctuary.
Okay.
One of the
so
top
yes,
hotels.
you just hit that's the one for me. I once I walked onto the Sanctuary property, I fell in love with it. Not just, the history alone on that property. I'm a big history person, and when I travel to all these different countries, I really like to understand the culture and the history behind it. And that Sanctuary property has got some history. It was there in the 1600s as a castle, right? And it's just been turned, and then now here present day, it's been renovated. It's gorgeous. You've got lots of pools there, great cuisine. You have a little town there that just has several restaurants that people can explore. It's just ultimately one of my favorite properties is the Sanctuary, I have to say. It's an adult only, but it's one of my favorite properties that you guys have in your portfolio. Love it.
Yeah, it's one of the best, and I'm excited because we're also opening up soon a Kimpton all-inclusive.
Okay.
And that's going to be opening in Riviera Maya later this year, and it's going to be all ages. So it's going to have the same level of high-quality food, high-quality entertainment, accommodations, but it's going to be all ages, so not just adults only.
Not just adults only. So another family property that's going to be available. And you said that's going to open up at the end of the year?
Yeah.
Okay. And I know, a lot of your properties, I know the Ziva in Dominican Republic has a water park. Does the Ziva in Jamaica have a water park as well?
It does not. No,
does
but
not.
The Hilton in Rose Hall does.
That's the one. Okay, so I get a little mixed up.
But
a lot of your properties have water parks. So when it comes to family properties, so people are traveling with family, they can really enjoy, all the amenities that are there, and the kids can have a great time as well, and not have to worry, that because they say, if the kids are happy, the parents are happy, right?
Yeah.
So we only have a few minutes left here, but I want to just thank you for coming on because a lot of the clients, what we're trying to attract, of course, is to talk to those people that are going through cancer or they're survivors, and give them options as to where they can go so that they can relax and feel that they're getting that whole wellness experience. And you basically covered that between most of the properties, you say, and of course all the properties do pretty much farm to table food. You have options of yoga. You have great spas, hydrotherapy pools, great gyms. You have a wide variety of classes people can take depending on the resort they go to or the country they go to. So you really have, it really seems like that Playa is actually really going towards that whole wellness environment, not only for people that are going through something, but just as an industry standard that you're kind of gearing towards the wellness factor.
Yeah. It's a big part of what we do. It's a big part of what makes our brand successful and brings people, repeat guests back. Wellness is a huge part of what we focus on, and I think the industry is realizing that it's a very important piece of the vacation experience.
Yeah, I think, I think nowadays everybody's kind of going through something, or they're stressed out, or whatever it is that they're going through. And to go on vacation and really come back feeling like rejuvenated, not exhausted, like we talked earlier, is really important. That they're going there for a specific reason, whether they're, trying to get it was their last cancer treatment and they just want to relax, or they have some strength back and they want to be able to do that. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming on to the show today and talking about your fabulous properties, all in the 3 different countries: Mexico, Dominican Republic, and Jamaica. So Dan, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, is your information you could share, an email address, or where can we go?
The best way to get a hold of me is to go through your travel advisor.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we are going to wrap things up here at Travel, Adventure, and Wellness. We'll be back next Friday. Everybody have a great weekend. Happy travels.